Okay, so our next speaker, she has a remarkable story, and her story has everything a good founding story should have. It has scientific physics studies. It has a weather satellite that's just hers. It has prediction software, and it has 1 million African farmers who actually use her service right now. She has won awards for her leadership, and she is here today, I hope. Might be here. She might be here today. Yeah, she's here today. Yes, she is doing something to end world poverty for real. Here she is, Liisa Smits.
Good morning. My journey started about almost 10 years ago. I was a researcher at University of Washington, working with one of NASA's satellites, and thought that I've really found the meaning in my life. Well, one night I was really frustrated because there was a lot of satellite data passing by, satellites around the equator, but none around the poles where I was working. And then I thought, isn't that strange that we today have amazing amounts of weather satellite data around the equator, but still not a reliable weather forecast? That sparked my interest, and I started thinking, well, could we do something about this? Who were the affected ones? And this got me together with 4 colleagues of mine to start to look at this closer. And we bought tickets down to West Africa to look at what is the reality on the ground. Well, we discovered pretty quickly that 39% accuracy was what was available in a weather forecast. At the same time, farmers in this region only make 20% of the possible yield that they could make because decisions were not very well timed with the weather. This affected 500 million farmers. On top of that, we know that the demand of food will continue to increase. So by 2050, we will need to have 70% more food in this region. The farmers are living in poverty, around $2 per day currently. And at the same time, we have seen that the last 30 years, 90% of the rainforest had been cut down in West Africa. And this is a trend that we wanted to revert and do something about. What we created was not only a weather forecast that turned out to work much better, where we got the accuracy up from 39% to 84%, but also a way of communicating something high-tech to the lowest possible level in technology that works on a feature phone. A simple text message. The people that we communicate with, they can't read or write. So we went through 121 different techniques of communication before we finally found one way where farmers could recognize a word, and by knowing where in the text message it was placed, they would know when it would be happening. So, for example, if rain was predicted today, they knew that on the first line, if they saw the word rain, it would rain today. We wanted to see and find really a good, scalable and affordable solution, and decided to put this to a price point where it would be about 1% of the total cost that a farmer has on a yearly basis. So how did it go? Well, today we are a team of 80 people. We have been able to help small-scale farmers not only in West Africa, but currently now also moving into Latin America with our technology, where we have figured that by knowing when to plant, by knowing when to harvest, knowing when to apply that really expensive fertilizer that you might have borrowed from your whole village to be able to afford, by knowing when to do these decisions, well timed with the weather, your yields can increase incredibly. Today, we're serving 1.3 million farmers on a daily basis. We have seen by third-party studies that we have been able to increase their yields by 65%. What does this mean for a small-scale farmer? Thank you. This really means that somebody living on $1.9 per day can now be moved over to $3.1 per day. It is the big difference between extreme poverty, where you have to think about food for the next day, to a point where you suddenly can fix that roof that is leaking, where you can send your children to school, when you can start investing in your agriculture and also get hope for the future. That's what it means. We have today seen that 6 more people, more than the farmer, is benefited from this increased income. And we are today having about between 4,000 and 5,000 new farmers joining the service on a daily basis. But this is not enough, because this problem is so large. We need to somehow go from 1.3 million farmers to 500 million farmers. And here we have a nut to crack. There might be better, smarter ways of getting this service launched all over the world, around the equator, where 40% of the world's populations live. Perhaps you know the answer. What I have figured out during this journey is very much that it gave me a deep feeling of satisfaction to work with something that is purposeful. So next time you think about, switching jobs, think about what is important for you, what is meaningful for you. And if you don't have an idea of your own, come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.